And we are back. I love to say we're back. Like, it's almost like we just came back from a commercial break, but being that we're doing the show bi-weekly now, it's like, oh my God, Val, we did the show all the time. And now we're like doing it every 2 weeks. This is your professionals and animal lovers show. It is all about that. We want to amplify the message that we believe the connection, the relationship, the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. We want to support one another in business, in advocacy work, in mission work, in rescue work, to build this compassionate network. Why do we do it? So that everyone wins.
Especially the animals.
And it all started out as you know, I was doing a show called Philanthropy and Focus, which I still do, but Valerie said to me, I want to do a podcasting. And I said, great, let's do it. And then we just did it. And that's sort of how life happens, man. You got to lean in, you got to take chances. Val says I push her out of her comfort zone. I think that's all of our responsibility, to either get out of our own comfort zone or have a friend or a companion to kind of rustle our feathers and get us moving and get us doing things. So look,
threw me out of the nest.
Threw you out of the nest. I saw a video like that the other day, probably on Instagram, where like the baby bird was out of the nest and it was like almost like crashing, but it was like the mama bird knew like when to push the baby out, because it was like like that, like a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know if it sounded that way. I don't know if that's the greatest audio. But the point of the matter is, we bring together people in community. We are building a community. We built it. We just continue to build it and nurture it, of people who are really on the front lines supporting animal advocacy, business professionals who either own and operate businesses for the animals or operate different types of businesses and support the animals. So it's all that coming together. We bring you legislative information. We talk about calls to action. How can you be part of the change? How can you be part of the solution? And I think, Val, right away, why don't you jump in? Because I think even before we introduce our guest, Jen Hanna, by the way, hello, Jen. How are you? I'm Tommy D.
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We're excited to connect with you for sure. A lot of stories that we're going to talk about. But Val, before we jump into that, why don't you, I know you had something on your mind you wanted to talk about too.
Yes. Okay. So 2 weeks feels like an eternity, but at the same time, it is summer and time flies. So here we are. But 2 weeks ago, we had on Adita from an organization called NYC, New York Class. So their entire mission right now, what they're focused on very heavily, is to have a ban passed against the horse carriage industry. So we're going to be doing a call night. And this is one of the things that has come to be because of this podcast. This podcast is really changing lives. And in fact, I own a new business because of this podcast that I never thought I would own. And Tommy has adopted a dog that he did not have in mind when this podcast started. So anyway, we did a call night, several call nights last year, if you guys remember, to pass the anti-puppy mill bill, get that passed in New York. We have to work on that in other states now. But for right now, anyone who either resides in the 5 boroughs, or if you have friends or family in the 5 boroughs, we're going to do a call night, and we're going to call the New York City Council so that they can understand how important it is to the constituents that people don't really want to see horses, falling down and dying in the streets of the city. So we'll get you the link. We'll post the date and time, and just know that's on the horizon. And you don't have to wait for the call night to do that either. You could do that at any time.
100%. If you go to their website right there, nyclass.org, you can see a lot of this information. Sign up for their newsletter. The first thing they do is say, stand with us to create meaningful change and protect New York City carriage horses. If you didn't check out that episode, I would certainly encourage you to do so, because I learned a ton. And that's part of what we do on this show. We learn, we educate, and we advocate. And that's what it is. But it's difficult to advocate until you learn something, right? And we learn a ton on this show. So yeah. I think that's, I'd encourage you to check that out today. Talk about nonprofit organizations, talk about people doing mission work, talk about people in business who are supporting the animals. Jen Hanna is here today. Jen, I want to look at my notes real quick. So talk about an unprepared guy. I'm just kidding. But Noble Dog Hotel owner, founder of the Canine Healing Project. I checked out some of the dogs on your website, and the danger of looking at pictures of rescued dogs. I'm telling Valerie, who knows this, runs pretty much a menagerie, right? A zoo. Well, at the house there. But the problem or the challenge is you want to adopt them all. I mean, I want to help all the people I can help. So forget about when you see the animals that need help. But Jen Hanna, fired up to meet you. Tell us your story. Give us your background. I know Valerie and you have connected, so she's got maybe some more questions she wants to ask, but I am always so curious, friend. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good to be here. And thanks for all that you two are doing as well. So you tell me where you want me to start, because it's quite a unique background.
I'll tell you where I want you to start. Who is Jen Hanna? That's what I want. Right. What's your background?
Well, honestly, I grew up with cats. I didn't even have a dog until after college. So I went to Furman University in Greenville, South Carolina. That's how I got here. My whole family's from up north, born in Philadelphia. Most of my family is now in Pittsburgh. So I get back there every once in a while to see them. Don't get to Philly much, but and so anyway, I came down to Furman, actually came down on a golf scholarship, played all 4 years, graduated, then turned pro, played on tour for 7 years between the mini and the LPGA.
I saw that.
I did not know that.
I saw you didn't know Val. I looked it up on LinkedIn. I didn't know how soon we'd get to golf. So we got to talk. How about my hat? Jen Hanna.
I like it. I like it. Good choice. Good choice. Yeah. So I then actually left the tour to come coach at Furman and coach there 7 years, and then decided to leave that and go into the business world and see what I could do. I took a position with a local company that's a textile company called Integra Technologies, and we just make a single product. It's just a high modulus polypropylene that goes into sporting goods equipment, also automotive, aerospace. And so it was I came on the sports and rec department, which was fun because I've played sports my entire life growing up and got to see how they were made and introduce those product into some different applications. So that was fun. Still doing that. I actually moved up from market management into business development, and now I've been running the company. It's a small company, but I've been running it for, I guess, about three or 4 years now. We're in the process of selling that. So we'll see what direction I go from there. But in the meantime, while I was doing that, I opened Noble Dog Hotel in 2017. Wow. In 2021, I opened the Noble Dog Lodge up in North Carolina. So the whole basis behind those is I came at them from a customer perspective. I did a lot of traveling, obviously, playing on tour, and then with my other job as well. And so I never really felt like there's a place that I wanted to leave my dogs, where I felt like I had that transparency and peace of mind. So I decided to try and create it. Just did a lot of research, what was offered at different places, especially like in New York and Seattle and California, and your bigger populations. What were they doing, and can we bring that to Greenville? And is there a need? I felt like I wasn't the only person that was looking for that. But the night before
clearly not.
Clearly not. No.
She's killing it, everyone. I just want to let you know, like, we are next door. And pretty much all day, every day, people are like dropping off their dogs, picking up their dogs. Yep. They have a chauffeur.
We do chauffeur
car. And they will even come to you and pick up your dogs and drop them off. I mean, it's incredible. So I'm so sorry. I love what you're doing, because we've talked about this before on the show a little bit. I've never boarded my dog. I'm just very untrusting, I guess. And I have just super high standards. Right. And so we a couple of times would have like friends or family stay in our house and sleep with our dog in our bed like he's used to. But I will say I have looked at other places. A lot of them are chains or franchises or whatever. And I have also, we have a good friend of the show who's in the process of building a luxury place in New York. And she has shed a lot of light about like what happens behind the scenes in the areas that they don't take you to, like on your tour. So anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted,
While we're going into this, I'm going to share my screen. So gang, if you're watching on Facebook and listening on Facebook, you can see as Jen walks us through. Jen, I'm going to take us right to the website, if that's cool with you all.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
it'll be fun, because I'm over here doing my research, and I'm like, everybody should be able to see what I'm seeing.
It's incredible. Yeah, it is really, really.
Let me go back to the front page, I guess. So, all right. So let's, Jen, you see my you see what I'm sharing,
Yep.
Jen, all right?
Yep.
Yeah, the nobledoghotel.com.
Yeah, .com, nobledoghotel.com. So Jen, why don't you tell us kind of about, I mean, my question is, I mean, you said you looked at this from a customer perspective, which to me is like,
Yeah.
okay, right on. I dig it because you're saying, what are the buyers looking for? So what were some
Right.
important things that came up for you as a customer, as a client that were oh my God, look at this. Look at the amount of space you got out in the backyard. Talk to us about it. I'm just going to be in awe of what's going on.
So first and foremost, I wanted it to be pleasing for the dogs and comfortable for the dogs. So a lot of places, when you're doing marketing and stuff, the colors that you're picking for branding are based on what attracts humans because they're the buyer. But we wanted to set everything to the dog. So the blue and the yellow those are actually the only two colors that dogs can see. They can kind of make out some greens and oranges. They're kind of muted, and then it goes into the grayscale. But blues and yellows are the two colors that they've identified that they can see. So that's why our colors are blue and yellow. You'll see the
I
lodge
did not
is
know
green.
that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Tommy, did you know that?
Valerie, 3 things we do on the show. We learn.
We learn and
Hey,
I just learned.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down, Heffron? What are we doing here? That's what we're doing. Blue and yellow. I did not know that, by the way, Val, to answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so white, I mean, you see veterinarians and white lab coats, you see a lot of white. We tried not to use any white. These rooms that's like an almond color, only because that was our only option. But the white can appear to some as a bright light. So it's kind of scary to them. It's why some dogs, why some dogs struggle when they see a white dog.
Really?
There's just some, yeah. Yep. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that the dogs were comfortable first and foremost. We also do the retail or the entrance, the lobby, I wanted it to feel like a real hotel, like you were checking into a real hotel. So the chandeliers and, the calming colors and just creating a nice atmosphere. What I wanted people to do is walk in and say, I would stay here too.
Yeah.
Like if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for your dog. We did the high-end suites like the Presidential, the Penthouse. They have twin size beds. The room service. So guilt buys really. I mean, but the dogs love them. Turkey burgers, eggs, pancakes, different kind of things on that room serve. Ice cream.
I gotta go back.
Meals.
Where is it? Is it under amenities?
Should be under amenities.
Yeah, look at this.
Room service.
This is funny because sorry to interrupt you, Jen, but this is funny to me because like what happens when they come home and they're like, yo, this place sucks. You know where I was?
Exactly
Exactly what's going on. Why am I not getting the same level of service that I was getting? And they start turning their nose up at the food bowl or something, right?
Yeah. Listen, we get some comments saying my dog wasn't even happy to see me. So, we want them to, we do want them to still be happy going home, but we want them to be excited about coming. And we also want that peace of mind when you drop off that, you're seeing the same people time and time again, build that trust. We have the transparency. We have webcams in all the rooms, all the play areas, but also all the suites. So when you check your dog in, you'll be able to see them on the app in their room.
I love how transparent. Sorry to interrupt you again. I love how transparent your pricing's right on the website. So, and I guess I have no idea what these things cost, but I would have to assume in my head that this is your level of premium service comes at a premium price. But I guess these prices are not very outrageous to me. I mean, it's like if I'm going to leave Cheeto somewhere because we're going away, that's the name of our dog, by the way, Jen, Cheeto.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, so it's like that's not my son's name. According to Valerie, he is my third son, but that's a whole different story. I'm not there.
I get it.
The proof is in the pudding, though, too, right? I mean, like the pricing is clearly it's a fair price because they're booked. So
right.
The market will tell you if you're overpriced.
Yeah, let me ask you that if I could, just to kind of be really direct. If you compare this to what other alternatives there are, which I guess is a kennel, right? Isn't that the alternative? Or
like a doggy daycare, yeah.
We most of our competition here is the franchises. And some of them are priced a little higher than we are. It's we try to be fair. Could we make some more? Probably, and I just try and balance it out because we pay our employees really well. We offer benefits. Anybody in a leadership position, I want it to be a career. So I want them to be able to have a decent life and paid time off and
Yeah.
the benefits and everything. So
I want to stay on that, because being, I own an employee benefits agency. I'm constantly in these conversations about attracting and retaining talent. And, maybe theoretically people would say, oh, well, this is a job. This might not be a career for me. But you're showing here, Jen, opportunities for people to make a career in something that they love doing, in working with animals. So we talk a lot about that. Like, what is the professions that people can go into when they, when they love animals? You don't have to own. We do need veterinarians, gang. We do. I know that because we have a doctor tell us, but that doesn't have to be the way that somebody goes. There's other alternatives. So anyway, just me going on a tangent, but
I have to say this, I love the fact that they will read to the dogs, because that's something I read to my cats. Jovi just like falls asleep, but the cats seem into it. It's like they stand around and they think it's like story time. And I don't know, I just think that's a great service to offer. And I will say this, for anyone who is considering boarding, please read the reviews. Most of the time I ignore reviews when it comes to like a restaurant, or I look at it like this: everyone's palate is different, right? So it's very subjective, and my favorite pizza could be not impressive to you. However, when a pet parent takes the time to write a review, and the aggregate is what matters, right? So if you have 1,000 reviews and 800 of them are not good, please, just take note, because I find pet parents to be very concerned with other people's pets too. And if they have bad experience, I mean, I was reading reviews up in New York and I was like, oh my God. A common complaint was that the animals were returned dirty. And I don't mean dirty with dirt. I mean, number one, number two, on them, the cleanliness factor, that's important. And ask for a tour, ask for a tour. You want to know and understand exactly where your pet is going to be. So the cameras, Jen, that's fantastic.
I was just looking at that too. Jen, I'm going to go back and share the screen again, and then you could tell me, because it's funny. Like, there's like live feed right now of what's going on.
There's live feed in the play areas. Yeah.
So you got play area.
Love it.
Yes, I'm on play. I don't know what I'm on anymore because I was clicking around, but let's say play area 1. And so if my pooch is there, Cheeto's here, I can see what's up with Cheeto, what he's doing, how's he doing.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Wow, look at this. I mean, look at
I know.
What they have. Outdoor.
I mean, it's so clean. It's really, these guys do a bang up job. I mean, we have, it's inevitable when you're bringing dogs into a location, especially if there's puppies, or if they're older, you're going to have some little pee-pee accidents, whatever, but they're on it right away. And I wanted to ask you about that. Okay. I wanted to ask you about, I see you have some really great videos of multiple dogs in the same area, right? Like outside the agility course. And how do you decide, or how do they know, like, if dogs are going to get along, like everyone's going to play nice?
We do temperament tests. So the first day they come, they have to sign up for a temperament test. But going back to when you're talking about the reviews, also ask the questions. You want to know that there's first aid, people that are certified in first aid on site. You want to know if there's somebody overnight there, and if they're sleeping or they're working. You want to know, how often do they have dog fights, or do they have to take dogs to the vet? And accidents happen. I mean, when you put dogs in a group, sometimes it happens, but you want to know what their record is, and you want to know if they're not there at night. Most places they leave at between 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and they don't come back till 6 o'clock in the morning.
That is 100% true. I also called a chain organization. I was more curious, to be honest, because at the time, a few years ago during COVID, I did some pet sitting. And so I was curious to understand like what exactly they offered. And, my first red flag was, we have special food for our dog. We don't give him, a scoop of kibble or whatever. And they were like, oh, that, I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't know. We normally just feed them all the same food. I was like, that's a problem. Number two, like my dog gets walked four to 5 times a day, right?
Mhm.
So his last walk is like 9-10 o'clock at night. And when they said that they're there from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and there's no one there for 12 hours, I
Yeah.
was like heartbroken. I'm like, really?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
do you do though? So you have someone there 24, you have a night person.
We have somebody that comes, so our shifts are 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So there's a team from that, and then a team from 1:30 to 9:30, and then our overnight comes in at 9 and they leave at 6:30 in the morning. So they're there,
That's
they're cleaning the whole facility. They're not sleeping. It's 15,000
Right.
square feet. It takes them a minute.
Yeah.
Catching up on all the laundry, dishes, any meal prep that needs to be finished. So, but to go back to your point on the group play is a risk. I mean, any time that you introduce group play for your business, it's a high risk. It's like, serving people alcohol at the bar, basically. They're animals. At the end of the day, they're still animals and they have instincts. And
Mhm.
if they're uncomfortable or they're fear, there's one way for them to really, well, there's a couple ways for them to react, but at some point, they may bite us or bite another dog. So what we're trying to do during the temperament assessments, their first day is free. We'll evaluate them in group, and we'll start with a small controlled group of other dogs that we know well. Usually they're staff dogs, or dogs that come often that we really know how they respond and they're more submissive, and see how that dog reacts. Most dogs are fine, but they are pack animals. But then there's the ones you have to be the most, I guess, on your toes about are the scared ones, the fearful ones, because they will fear bite. If other dogs kind of pick on them as well, because they smell, they sense that fear. So, and then they'll show you something the first day, but then when they come back, it might be different the next day too. So we're constantly kind of keeping an eye on them. Some dogs unfortunately get worse in daycare or in group setting. So you just keep an eye on that as well. And we just try and communicate with the parents if we're seeing any types of behavior changes. Also, when we see behavior changes, it could be something that changed at home. Maybe there's stuff going on at home. Maybe they changed their diet. Maybe the dog is sick. So we always like to bring it to their attention just so that they can look further into it and see if they're seeing any changes at home as well.
And that's the right thing to do, right? It's transparency. Is that part of the report card that you're talking about, or?
There's a report card that goes out after the first assessment. So they'll get a report card for that day, kind of listing everything. Right. And then they get pup date when they board with us, they get pup date. So we'll send a picture. They'll take a picture with, some caption.
How much do I love that?
Time out, flag on the play. You're an athlete, Jen Hanna, so let's be real. I gotta throw a flag on the play. We love wordplay on this show. Thank you for using updates. I just saw my head kind of explode a little bit. Oh my God, she said updates. I love it. Oh my God. Am I right or am I wrong?
That was awesome. That was a touchdown
right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also want to, I can't believe what time it is already. I also really want to talk about your organization. You're not for profit. I'm very passionate. I think, most people who know me know I'm very passionate about rescue and, the whole anti-puppy mill situation. And just being an advocate and talking to your legislators and letting them know that you care about the animals. If everyone did that, it would be a game changer. But so did you start that Canine Healing Project around the same time as you launched the hotel, or did it come later, and what prompted that?
It was always part of the plan to do it after I got the hotel started. So I had the platform. Before I even started the hotel, and I don't even remember what year, it's probably 15, close to 20 years now, that I've been certified as a therapy dog handler. So I had 2 dogs that were certified, well, 3 now, 4. So over the years, just visited nursing homes and schools, hospitals. And so I've been part of that program for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's always there's always a need. And it doesn't take a lot of time. You just have to even if you do an hour a month, you're making a difference for people. So the whole idea behind that was, I also love senior dogs. I just love a sugar face. Was to try and pull more of the senior dogs that were in the shelter, because they have the good temperament for a therapy dog. And so sometimes we do get the seniors, but sometimes, like right now, I mean, most of our, well, Braylon's a little older, but the girls are younger. Bilbo was old, Nessie was old. We end up keeping those. But so to find the dogs that have a good temperament for therapy dog work, encourage the adopter. So they live at the hotel with us. We take care of them. And, you know, we have our Canine Healing Project, social media, and just try and promote them. We have a website as well. And then I think we've adopted out about 48 dogs, but we encourage the adopter to get certified as a handling team, and make visits, you know, locally, whether they adopt in Greenville or Atlanta or Charlotte or wherever they adopt from, or, you know, and take the dog to. Now there have been dogs in our program that are not good therapy dogs, but regardless, we took care of them, we love them, and they have good homes. So
can you just go backwards for 1 second? Can you mention again where you go to get certified to become a handler, a therapy dog handler? Oh,
there are different organizations. I would love to have Canine Healing be able to offer that in the future. But there is Alliance Therapy Dogs. There is, I think it's called Love on the Leash. If you Google therapy dog certifications, several will pop up. AKC has the ones they recommend.
okay.
So,
I'm
but
interested
there's
in doing that. I could do, there's certain things I feel like I can't do. Like I'm terrible at trapping cats. I've tried. They don't, I don't know. They're not falling for it. I'm not a good salesperson. But something
locally,
like this.
Pause to Care. So number 2, Pause, number 2, Care. They do the certification for Alliance Therapy Dogs.
Awesome.
Locally.
Awesome. Love it. Look at all these dogs. Look at
Aren't they adorable?
Jen, I gotta ask you a question, Jen. Yeah, they are adorable, by the way. I told you I can't even look at them. It's best if I don't, because then
I know.
Well, all those are adopted, so you're okay.
I'm good. I'm safe.
Oh, okay.
All right, but look at this.
Yeah.
If I click on this, I don't know, it's gonna open up this little one here in the middle with the pink like hoodie on.
Pink hoodie.
Yep.
That looks like Jovi with an underbite with
This
the
one
guy
here.
with the red.
Yeah,
and
That's Holly. So
Holly.
Holly and then Elf. They came to us around Christmas. So you have Holly and Elf.
So, you know, Cheeto has a sister, and Cheeto's sister's name is Nutmeg. I don't even know if you know that, Val. Did you know that Cheeto
I
has a
think
sister?
you did. Yeah, I think you mentioned that. I don't know.
That's Bilbo in the Mexican hat.
Right
Yes,
here.
hi, Bilbo.
Yeah.
That's funny. So we used to have a dog. His name was Michelob Light, which explains my 20s. And you know, I was down in Cancun and I would buy him those. I bought him like 3 of these sombreros, and he was only ever like 9 pounds, like at his best, you know. So that was like when I had him wearing the little Chihuahua wearing the sombrero. Jen, my question is this, because 2 things I heard you say. One thing, did you call them sugar fee? What were you referring to? The
Sugar
other
face. The old one, sugar face.
sugar. What's the second word you're saying?
Face.
Face.
Oh, sugar
F-A-C-E.
face. Sugar
Yeah.
face. Thank you.
They
And
get
then,
like the white coloring, white
yeah, I
whiskers.
sort of know actually. If you, gang,
Yeah.
if you're only watching or you're not just
Oh
listening,
yeah, there's a little sugar face.
I got a little sugar face. My kids tell me I'm an old man with a gray beard, but sugar face sounds
Salt
nice.
and pepper. You're still in the salt and pepper.
More like salt and pepper. A little bit of pepper. Here's my question. So it sounded like when people adopt these particular dogs, they're adopted with the intent to be therapy dogs. So they're going to take them out into the public from a therapeutic. That's part of the deal? Explain that if you could.
We encourage that. I mean, we can't force that. We do, when we look through the applications, that is something we look for. Iggy, who is with us now, she will meet her potential adopters this weekend, coming weekend, but she would be a therapy dog with the mother. So she would go to work as a counselor. She's a counselor for kids and she wants to take her. So we know that she will go on and do that. Braylon would be great. Belle will probably be a good therapy dog as well. So not all of them go on and do it, but it's something we highly encourage.
Got it. And then the other thing, I got to do a couple quick shout outs because you talked about nursing homes and schools. Excuse me, about a month and a half ago, I was up in the Poconos and I drove back to Long Island because I had set it up where Horseability, where I'm on the board here on Long Island, was bringing the minis. They're not ponies, everybody. They're minis. These horses stay small. They were bringing them to Long Island Dementia and Alzheimer's. and we brought them in and we bring them on the road, and they call their little, it's a minivan, and they call it a Winnie van, like a horse goes Winnie. Oh, it's just so cute. It's a lot of pictures. Check out TommyD.NYC on Instagram for some of the pictures. But what I was going to say was this weekend we celebrated the grand opening, the ribbon cutting at the new building on the campus of SUNY Old Westbury here on Long Island for Horseability, and we celebrated our 30th anniversary. Again, I say we, I'm a board member, but I bring it up because Assembly Member Chuck Levine, through a friendship I have with his son, and certainly now Chuck and I are building a friendship, came out to do the ribbon cutting, Val. So I didn't even tell you, I'm telling you live on the show. This is just the stuff that goes on. And much of that probably doesn't go on if it wasn't for the Professionals and Animal Lovers show and your vision, because it makes me think differently. Like, I don't know that I would have said, hey, we should get a politician, we should get an elected official out here. But now Chuck's become a friend of mine. And it all sort of comes together with what we're talking about with Jen here today, as far as the therapy animals. But what's really coming up for me as somebody, I call myself, Jen, the nonprofit sector connector, and hearing you talk about that forming the nonprofit was always a vision for you. Even it sounds prior to forming the Noble Dog Hotel, and then taking the two together. I mean, that's what I do all day, is bring the two together.
Yeah.
You actually created, you and I'm sure a team and different supporters in your world, but brought this together. And man, I think that's the whole thing. Isn't that what we're doing? So you get a revenue generating business and you get this incredible nonprofit organization that's doing great work, and they both grow together. Can you talk about that strategy a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think some, refer to it as a social enterprise, but, again, having that platform. So it's one thing to have a rescue and a nonprofit, and create an audience. It's another to have the audience there and then create, the nonprofit. So,
Right.
And then we sponsor a lot of events. Noble Dog does in the community. We sponsor the hockey team, the Wagon Wednesdays. We sponsor the baseball team, Bark in the Park. We sponsor the Ultimate Challenge. We're sponsoring the soccer team now. So that gives us an opportunity. Anytime we do a deal like that with them, there's some support that they give us back for Canine Healing. They also promote it for us. So maybe some of the ticket sales or the shirt sales or something, apparel merchandise, will be donated to Canine Healing. We sell Canine Healing stuff in our store. We also have an online shop, Noble Dog Shop, where proceeds go to, a portion of the proceeds will also go to Canine Healing. So, the more we can do to help the dogs and give them a second chance, and that's the whole thing, give them a second chance, and then also they give us so much in return and give the community so much in return. If we just, use our heads and our brains and understand how brilliant they are and how wonderful dogs are, all animals, but, dogs are they can smell cancer before any of our technology can detect it, and they're way smarter than we are until we figure those things out, and what dogs can do and canines can do for our lives. They protect us. They can, they save us. They do all kinds of things. And if we can do more and more for them, then, it's a win-win.
We have to. And I want to also thank you for, to me, it's a genius idea. I mean, look, there's so many great organizations out there. We're meeting so many of them. This is the first I'm hearing of a combination of rescuing, right, from kill shelters or stray situations. And then there's like a second leg of it. It's not just like, we rescued this dog, please get them adopted or fostered. It's like, we rescued this dog and we're going to match them with this person because they can be a therapy animal. My dad, I've told this story before, but I have to just, it of course is in my head. My dad was a huge animal lover. And so when his health was declining, he was in a rehab facility. And I didn't even know that they had therapy animals, but I went to get a cup of coffee or something. And the next thing I know, I'm walking down the hallway and there was a porter pushing a cart. And all of a sudden I saw ears pop out of the cart. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And it turned out, in this case, it was a therapy rabbit, giant rat, I don't even know, like a monster rabbit, but he was so cute. And I was like, you have to come, after I found out it was a therapy animal, I'm like, you have to come visit my dad. So sure enough, he stopped in. My dad was pretty out of it, very lethargic. He sees this rabbit, forget about seeing me, sees this rabbit and he perked up, it lit him up. And he reached over, starts petting him. and then he starts laughing, and just that one moment of
Yeah.
it's a game changer. It just spun
Yeah.
everything around, so knowing that you're doing that for all these other people too, that is incredible. I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Well, so Val,
Um,
sorry, Jen, go ahead. And then I got a question for Val.
yeah, I go pretty much every Monday night to Waterstone on Augusta. So you're always more than welcome to come and tag along and see, what it's about.
I have no idea where that
to-
is, but I'm coming.
It's like 10 minutes from the store. But
Okay, cool.
to your point, when I first started doing this and I was going to one of the nursing homes, it was a different one. And I used to bring my lab, and they had such a bond from the beginning. And she used to tell me, and she was like, I don't know, 90 years old, 80, 87 years old, but she used to tell me, like, I live for this day, like every day of the week, because I'd go every week.
Yeah.
And it's just something I'll never forget. Like it means that much to them, and they say that, especially for Alzheimer patients, music and animals are the things that they tend to be able to remember.
You know what I heard they bring back even and again, if we talk, let's just talk horses for a second, the smell,
Yep.
the horses
Yep.
smell, even of the rest of the smells, but it brings back, a smell for people that they didn't even, they go, oh, I had horses, or I grew up on a farm, or I grew up around horses, and some of the memories start to come back. But I Googled what you said, Waterstone on Augusta, which is a foster active living community, senior living community. I have a focus on memory care and assisted living. Unfortunately, I'm so far away, because I would love to go down there with you. And when I do come through, when my trip down south, I am on Strong Island, everybody. We call it that, Strong Island.
Maybe that should be your 60th day of service.
Service. I drive down and I pick up you and Jen and a couple of the dogs, and we go. Well, we actually Saturday morning was day number 52 of 60 days of service, Val. So we're running out of days. But I'll tell you what happens. What happens after we do 60 days of service? We start back at 1 and we're doing 70 days of service. So don't worry about it, gang. I'm doing this for a long time. My question was to Val, just from a perspective of being a new business owner in this community in Greenville. Can you talk about your business real quick, and then talk about some of the alliances you've already made in the community and nonprofit too, maybe?
Oh my God. So once again, I guess all roads are leading back to this podcast, right? But 2 years ago, roughly, we fed our dog very differently. And we had a guest on. The first guest that kind of opened my eyes was a clinical pet nutritionist who has a raw pet food store in Rhode Island, right?
Mm-hmm.
So John Devereaux was just an incredible guest. I almost fell off my chair when I realized all the things I was doing wrong, including giving cooked bones to our dog if we had them. Horrible. And I mean, the rest wasn't horrible. We were cooking his food, but at least we were preparing it. But we did not include necessary ingredients like organ meats and calcium. So it's like we were doing pretty good, but not great. Anyway, Johnny gave us one tip, and we started making a bone broth for our dog, who's a senior, and he had stopped going up and down the stairs. And then 2 weeks after giving him the bone marrow broth, he started running up and down the stairs. So that started it. Then a couple of months later, I had Rob Tucker of the Canine Shop, who started this whole thing in New York, and he came on the show and opened our eyeballs even more about the process of commercial pet food industry, and also the ingredients that are allowed to get in there. It's stuff horror shows are made of, to be honest. So then we changed more, and then we became obsessed, right? It's like a rabbit hole. You can't even help it. And my husband is holistic by his trade. He was a chiropractor. His whole family is holistic. So this really made so much sense. Like, I had the animal advocacy and animal lover, and my husband is holistic as well as an animal lover. We saw results within our own dog, and the next thing you know, it changed our lives, and here we are opening a business.
Totally on brand. So now, because you probably won't do it, I will. The store is located at 1320 EXT. I don't know what the XT stands for, but if you all know, if you're down in Greenville, you know what the XT stands for. Maybe it's extension 1320 Hampton.
There you go.
Extension. Suite 10B, Greenville, South Carolina, not North, but South Carolina, 29601. And if I'm not mistaken, that is not too far from the hotel. Jen, is that true?
We share a wall. That's how close we are.
Literally, they share a wall. That is
we're neighbors. And I want to say this. I wanted to also say, because we're so new, we haven't been out there too much. We did, before we opened, we had a table at a local event that there was a rescue there, the dog squad, and we had a great time. And then the first event that we did when we did open was Pups and Pride. And I wanted to really, thank you again. Like, we loved being there. It was so freaking cute. All these rainbow tutus on the dogs and adorable. Like, honestly, her social media, I guess ours too now, but the social media, it's like dream pictures. They're just so adorable. And then, going forward, we're definitely going to do great events. I certainly want to do more with Jen. But, we want to do some educational stuff like pet first aid and emergency preparedness, and even estate planning to include your pets and things like that. Yeah. And then fun stuff too, like a doggy fashion show fundraiser and Halloween costume competition. I mean, come on. Yeah, you have to. You just have to.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous that you didn't open this store up here on Long Island. I'm jealous. We'll have to talk, but maybe we still have to revisit.
It's fun.
I love it. Talk about Pride. It is Pride Month, so shout out, happy Pride, everybody. I was at an event for one of our clients, Pride for Youth. They were celebrating the 30th anniversary. They have a phone line that's been going on for 30 years for young people to call in, and they were celebrating that. And we were at their event here at Westbury Manor the other night on Long Island. And I'd never attended an event that had drag queen bingo until last week, and now I have attended an event that had drag queen bingo, so that is now checked off my bucket list. So we.
Did you win?
I was just enamored by the whole scene. I did not win bingo. No. But I think I think I'm winning at life right now. That's for sure.
I have to say this. This is something that maybe Jen, maybe we can collaborate or something on this. But I have a phrase that I want to coin for next year, because we're in the middle. We're almost actually at the end of June already. But so obviously everyone knows the famous quote from Lin Miranda's speech years ago when he said, "Love is love is love is love is," right? So love is definitely huge and out there already. I want to coin, maybe I should announce it on the podcast. I don't care. I trust people. It doesn't matter. But I want to coin love and let love.
There it goes. Everybody just website, Val. Everybody bought that website already. You just lost out in millions and millions of dollars, Valerie. I'm kidding.
Whatever.
Nothing new under the sun, as they say. Everything just a spin on.
I'm not worried about it's the mess. I want to get the message out.
That is it. It's all about compassion. It's all about love, and I just think we got to continue to have that conversation in every walk of life, because it's kind of challenging to live on this planet some days.
And you got to be like a dog. Dogs love everybody. They don't care about your religion. They don't care about your looks. They don't care about if you're disabled or differently abled, I should say. They don't care about anything like that. They don't care if you shave your legs or not for 10 days, whatever. Just random example.
Talk about Rando. Yeah, that's Rando. That's Marlon Rando right there. That's the only thing I started saying to my kids. Marlon Rando. I don't know. It's silly, but it makes sense, because check out my coffee mug, which Val, I don't think it's made on the show, but it says there, ask me about my dad jokes, because I got.
Oh boy.
Happy Father's Day. It's Happy Mother's Day a couple of weeks ago. Happy to everybody. So Jen, before we split, I really want to just kind of get an understanding of how do people connect with you? Are there specific events coming up? Shout out social media, things like that, so people know how to follow what the great work the organization is doing, but certainly the great work you guys are doing as a business as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all the Instagram, Facebook for Noble Dog Hotel, Noble Dog Lodge. We've got the Canine Healing Project. We've got websites for all of them. We have the Noble Dog Shop as well. You can get to that just nobledogshop.com or through one of our websites. The next event, so we will be hosting, Nessie is our mascot, Noble Nessie. She's a pug Pomeranian mix. She came into the Canine Healing Project and we fell in love with her, so we kept her. She is a therapy dog, so she makes visits as well. But her Gotcha Day was in July of 2018. So we will celebrate her Gotcha Day at the end of July. And then we also are hosting Bark in the Park at the Greenville Drive game August 9th, which is an amazing day. The last game was sold out. You can bring your dog to the game. We have fun events on the field. And we also have vendors throughout the concourse. It's just it's one of the best dog events. And then September 30th, we've got the Ultimate Challenge, which is a 5K obstacle course you do with your dog, which is amazing as well. That's our other fun one.
Ultimate.
Hold on. Flag on play. I got the Ultimate. I heard it before when you said it, never got a chance to get back to it. We will now, but I got to ask you, what is the date on that? Because maybe that's the argument, Val, that I got to get in the car, Cheeto and I, and drive down.
There you go. September 30th.
September 30th. And is that a 5K to raise funds for the organization? Is it for the business? What is that?
We actually sponsor it. We don't put it on. Miley White, who is amazing, actually runs it, puts it on. She does a lot of work with the Greenville County Animal Shelter. So you can sponsor the runners, or you sponsor a dog that will get to run in the race. So that's a cool thing too. If you don't have a dog, you can get one of the sponsored dogs. And then they promote them when they're there. They support Canine Healing Project all the time as well. So it's just a great event. They have a Nessie's Beer Garden there. They'll have live music. They'll have food trucks. They'll have vendors. It's a lot of fun.
How do we find out about the 5K? Because now I'm like, I have to show myself and everything.
I love this so much because I know my dog would not. My dog will within a half a mile, he'll just stop walking, and
Some
he's
people
like,
walk.
"You can
Some
carry
people,
me now."
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Well, Etta has her backpack. So Etta and I did it 1 year together. I had to carry her a lot, but she did it, and they wanted her to do it to show that all dogs could do it. Because I don't know if you know that she was a rescue. They rescued her at 4 weeks old. All of her litter had passed away. She was the only one that was alive and barely alive. I got her at 8 weeks. She was in medical foster from 4 weeks to 8 weeks when I got her. And then I noticed that her arm kind of was like a noodle when she would walk. And we got x-rays. There were 2 old fractures in there that had already healed. So it had to have happened in her elbow before she was 4 weeks old. So she doesn't have use of that arm really. So she's we call her 3.5 legged, but they wanted her to do it, and they filmed it, and it's pretty cool watching her do some of this stuff.
No, I didn't.
But it's
know
fun.
that.
Anybody can do it, and it's you can go and walk it, you can go and run it. There's competitive waves, there's non-competitive. It's just a fun day to raise money for the Greenville County Animal Care, and just
Okay. I have to get involved with this, and also I have to spit this out because I think I just came up with a phenomenal idea. Okay, bear with me. So for another event, we had on one of our guests was the founder of Pilots to the Rescue.
Yes.
And they coordinate. I mean, you got to see their website. It's complex, but long story short, they have a team of volunteer pilots, and they also have volunteer transporters and drivers. What if we got Pilots to the Rescue to come down maybe to the Greenville airport or something, and we can deliver shelter animals from the Greenville shelter that are on like the youth list, and we could start getting Michael or Pilots to the Rescue to pull from here, because
that'd be awesome.
Wouldn't
we have one here too, Pilots and Calls.
No, I didn't. I need to know this. I need to know these people. This is my tribe.
When I'm on this website for Ultimate Race, and then sponsors there that we should know about, like, how about this one, Valerie? I could almost not say it. I watch like Special Victims Unit and those shows like Law and Order. So they have Law and Order, and it's like bum 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 bum, and it says like Paw, and they didn't. The logo does not make that noise that I just made. Paw and Order dog training. It's like, oh my God,
that's great.
Forget about it.
I love it.
I got to get down there for September 30th. We got to work this out. I know there's a young man in my life who I think would love to go down with me and down there to see the dogs, and it'd be a good road.
Maybe he could run the race also.
Cheeto. Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like my son to run the race with Cheeto.
I would, if you do that, I'll do it too, even though I have to be honest with you, one of the least favorite things I could ever have to do is run.
Yeah, but
you don't have to run. It's a
Val,
beautiful
okay.
walk through the.
Oh, well, then I'm in.
you gotta
Okay.
see
Yeah.
this. Everybody else, because we're teasing them. Let me just show that too. If you watch on Facebook, they're crawling like under like ropes and.
And the thing is, you can skip if you're not in the competitive. You can skip anything you don't want to do.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
don't
just
think
fun day.
Oh, look, these couple folks on the website here, they just look like they're having a good time. They don't look.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
They're
Yep.
not running for time here. They're not running for.
No,
But listen, this is so fun because this is what we get to do. We get to create, we get to come up with cool ideas, and me taking a ride down, it would be a pisser for me for sure. So I would love to do it.
And you could stop one night in Shenandoah, which is what I do when I drive up to New York. And they have a pet-friendly hotel that's walking distance to a really good Italian restaurant. I swear, it's
There you
really
go.
good.
So, I didn't even tell you, Val, yesterday. So check this out. Yesterday was Father's Day, so we went out to Port Jefferson, and I said, you know what, let's go. Cheeto's coming with us. And I said, that's the kind of neighborhood where I could walk around. And we had lunch, outside, and Cheeto was hanging out under the table, and it was all good. And that's talk about lifestyle shift. Like that's a thing. Like we're gonna be gone 5-6 hours. Why has he got to sit here all by himself when he could be with us? And that's just kind of, so that's just a different mindset about thinking creatively about where not where can we leave the dog, but where can we go and bring the dog?
Exactly.
you would love Greenville because Greenville, all the restaurants and everything are so dog friendly.
You know what? I'm already digging it. My friend owns a business down there. I don't know if you know. My friend owns a canine shop down there.
I heard about it.
I'm like, really? Who?
Oh, Valerie, I love you, Hef. I hope you're listening. I'm helping promote the show. She don't even the business.
I'm so bad at self-promotion. I'm sorry. I really thought that you knew someone else here and you didn't tell me yet. I'm like, why would you
I know
tell
Jen
me?
Hanna. Yes, I know
There
Jen
you go.
Hanna. No, I know a lot of friends. So I have 2 friends who have businesses down there. Look, Jen, let's leave them with anything. Any quick comments you want to make, and then we're going to send everybody on their way.
Whatever we can all do to chip in to help, everybody matters. Everybody can make a difference, even if it's small. Just do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it.
Right on. Be the change. Val, anything from you?
Look, just as always, I have to make the case there are so many incredible, wonderful, adoptable dogs and cats and rabbits out there. And even if you're interested in a specific breed, there are breed specific rescues, because believe it or not, a lot of times people will pay a lot of money for a dog. And then when they actually get the puppy, they realize it was more work than they ever signed up for. And they end up getting surrendered. And the other thing is that I also do understand that, there are reputable breeders out there. But please, please use our resources. I love the guide on the Humane Society website that helps you understand the differences between a responsible breeder versus someone that you probably wouldn't want to support with your dollars. So just please, again, first choice, adopt; second choice, breed specific rescue; and third choice, if you're going to purchase from a breeder, be 100% sure it is a responsible breeder, and send me a message. I've helped other friends determine whether or not they were actually sourcing from a reputable breeder. It's my pleasure to do it, and I will give you the honest truth.
And that's the thing too. Go to the website, pal-show.com. Val's information, her email is on there. Check it out. She wants to be a resource. No big deal. Just changing the world. No big deal. Just making the world a better place. That's what this is all about. And I will tell you, sometimes I'm trying to get a hold of Valerie, and she's trying to save a cat that is in her neighborhood. So that is like 478 miles away, and she's like finagling and like Machiavelliing and who's got a trap and who should we call. So this is not just some show where we come on. This woman lives it each and every day in the work. So Jen Hanna, I appreciate connecting with you. I want to talk one day. We'll talk about golf, whole nother show, whatever. We'll get to it.
Whole other show.
Whole other show. Maybe there's dogs playing golf. The whole. Oh, good job. Whole other show. Good job. I didn't even know I did that. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your vision, gang. If you're finding us on the internet, keep follow us on YouTube, P.A.L Show. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on LinkedIn. Just keep following. Follow the yellow brick road. I'll leave you with this: the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. That is Mahatma Gandhi. We appreciate you. Keep connecting, keep making the world a better place, whatever. Have a great day. I'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. That was awesome. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks for